You overhear a guy talking to a couple about the real estate market and what the effect of this pandemic is and how it's going to affect them and what's going to happen in the real estate market and when it's going to happen and why. My advice is to not listen to that guy because right now nobody knows what's going on. The market is changing hour by hour, and our goal is just to give you some facts. My name is Brad Brinkman. My business partner Dave Krill and I at the Beach Cellar, we put together a quick video for you that it just gives you some facts and answers the top 5 questions that are on that we've been getting, and so we want to answer those for you. This is how to contact us here, and we'll show that again a little bit later. Number 1, people are asking, when is the economy going to recover? Number 2, is it going to, are we in a recession? Number 3, is it going to be like 2008? Number 4, what about all the job loss? And number 5, what should I do now? So when is the economy going to recover? Well, let's look at what major financial institutions are saying. So this is Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley. They're all saying that there's going to be this V-type curve in the third quarter, maybe, but this is all for gross domestic product. So this is an optimistic view, obviously, subject to change because everything is changing. Goldman Sachs, when you drill it down, I mean, them managing 1.7 trillion of the wealthiest people's money in the world. This is what they're saying: 24% drop in GDP, 12%, 10%, third and fourth quarter. Could be, yep. Again, this is something that is important to look to hear what they're saying. And why should we look to them? Well, number 1, they're looking out for their clients. If this is the information they're giving their clients. So if they're wrong, they're going to lose clients. They don't want to lose that. They don't want to do that. Are we going into a recession? We are in a recession. Let's not sugarcoat it. We're in a recession. And it's people are saying it's like 2008. This chief economist at First American is saying no, it's not. That time 2008. Our housing just went down. This time, this recession, we're actually housing's going to break us out of it. I'm going to answer this question. Is it going to be like 2008? I don't think so. Here's why. Looking at these facts, this is right from CoreLogic. So if you look at 3 out of the past 5 recessions, we actually had an increase in home value. But what do we all remember? 2008, or nationally, 19.7% drop in value. For those in San Diego who remember, 39.6% drop in value. Thankfully, the coast only went down 8%. So unless you bought in 2006 on the coast and had to sell in 2009, you are fine over the long term. But this is what from Wells Fargo. They're saying that, this is not going to be like 2008 because it was a banking crisis back then. This is an event crisis. A lot of people are saying it's very similar to the 9/11 crash because of the stock market going down 45%, an S&P correction. And then you had home appreciation there. This is David Rosenberg for the chief economist for Guskin Sheff. He's just saying that, hey, this is very similar to 9/11 because people were afraid to go outside and gather in groups because of terrorist attacks. The same industries were hit, the airlines, the entertainment, the leisure, hospitality, restaurants. So some similarities there. Remember in 2008, we were using our homes as ATMs, right? So those 3 years, $824 billion worth of total equity cashed out of our homes. My goodness. Obviously, the banks kind of tightened up their programs. But I think what happened is we remember that and we got smarter. Look, in the past 3 years, we only had $232 billion as compared to 4 times that back in the previous recession. Also, payment as a percentage of income. Back in 2008, it was almost 25% historical norm. About 21% of our income goes to our mortgage payments. But now we look at January. This is from National Association of Realtors, where about 15% of our income actually went for mortgages. So we got smarter overall. But the thing is, what about all the job losses? Because that's gonna impact us, right? So what does Goldman Sachs say about unemployment rate? Well, there's their projections, 15, and then cut in half next year, and then kind of dwindle down a little bit. let's look at that as compared to the Great Recession and the Great Depression. Great Depression, that was a nightmare. My goodness. Look at all that job loss, and it was terrible. Great Recession, you had significant job loss then as well. Current crisis, we're at 15%, and this is what they're predicting: 6 to 8%, 5%, 4%. So I think that's why that they're kind of supporting their projections of the V-shaped curve. But again, this is subject to change. This is all I'm just giving you the updated information. What should I do right now? That depends on your situation. If you're a buyer and you're going to be in it for the long term, I mean, I saw people locking in rates that were unbelievable. I saw people refinancing their homes at unbelievable rates. It's a great time for a buyer if you can find the right property. And what I mean by that, let me tell you that if you're going to hold that property for a while, because if you're thinking about selling in a couple of years or doing some kind of a flip or something, don't do that. Don't do that. And that's my conservative opinion. But if you're going to be in it for the long term, everything is rate driven. If you can get a good rate, what if the prices go down? Well, they might, but again, the rates are going to go up. So it could be a bit of a wash at that. The hardest part is finding that property that you like. And if you can get it at a good rate and you're going to hold it, then traditionally the properties always go up in value, especially here in Southern California and in San Diego. Now, as a seller, if you need the money and you have to sell, there are still buyers out there. I mean, I'm getting texts from buyers all the time looking for property, and sellers that are selling. We had closed a new construction property that we had last week, so there still is activity, but the activity has slowed down. Let's make no mistake about that this is a big slowdown. The numbers haven't come out how slow it is yet, but preliminary looking at it, we're about 75% drop in activity. So and it's obvious, right? We're in quarantine, but thankfully, real estate agents have been deemed an essential service. Now, I know about all the stories about the country clubs and people, cashing big commission checks, driving around in their fancy cars. There are some realtors out there that do that, but most of the time we were helping people making some very difficult financial decisions because we don't want them to make a mistake. So if you're thinking about something and you need some help, know that, look, God willing, we're going to be around. Back in 2007, there was 1.4 million realtors in the National Association of Realtors. And in 2013, there was under 1 million. And look at San Diego. Back in 2017, there was an inventory of about 5,000 homes for sale. There was 15,000 active realtors. Flip those numbers when you go back to 2009. There's about 15,000 properties available and only about 5,000 realtors. So that is significant. Okay, that's something to consider because, again, God willing, we're going to be here. There's been a lot of realtors that have gotten into the business. It's a very low barrier of entry. So, work with somebody that has been around and knows what they're doing and can really give you the advice that you need right now. Whether that's us or somebody else, we want this to work out well for you. That's why we put this video together. Number one, our heart goes out to everybody that is dealing with this pandemic. We have been in San Diego for a while, so if you know of anyone that might need some help, just to get some groceries or something like that, we want to help. So keep us in mind, and if you have a question about your real estate, let us know. Give us a call or shoot us an email. My business partner Dave Krill and I we're happy to help you because again, we want to give you a clear picture of what your options are, so you feel you're making the right decision as we all work through these crazy times. Thank you so much. And God bless you all.